Tom Perez, he made a statement, I think it was on Thursday, that the DNC and the bylaws committee were planning to do something about superdelegates. He said that superdelegates needed to be reformed. And it's not just because he doesn't like superdelegates, because he is probably, I'm sure, a superdelegate, but because the voters are in favor of superdelegate reform in the Democratic Party. In fact, the Democratic Party is the only party that has superdelegates. These super people whose, I don't know, their thoughts about who should be president or nominee for the party are worth about as much as another 10,000 of other people's thoughts about who should be the nominee of the party. So that's a 1 to 10,000 ratio. It's estimated that a superdelegate's vote is worth the equivalent of 10,000 people's votes. So the idea of maybe they need to do some reforming has led to some people being pretty pissed off. Some superdelegates are elitists who get more votes at the convention than regular delegates. The whole idea of some people getting more votes than others is extremely undemocratic, and ironically, they call themselves the Democrats. Now, as I stated, some people are pissed off at the idea that Tom Perez and Keith Ellison and Russian bots would actually want to, take away the rights of superdelegates to dictate or put their thumb and booties on the scale for whatever candidate they think will be best. Obviously, in the 2016 election, when superdelegates went majorly for Hillary Clinton, even after the people in those states voted for Bernie Sanders, that they don't always know what they're doing because they chose the candidate who got destroyed by Donald Trump in the Electoral College, which is how we elect people. We don't elect people on a popular vote, which is crazy already, right? But we elect people based on the Electoral College. And these superdelegates were put in place to what? To make sure that no more, fiascos like Ray McGovern happened again? Well, anyway, didn't do so good in 2016. They picked a loser. They picked a loser who was polling worse, right, against Donald Trump than Bernie Sanders. You picked a loser, a person who had just lost in 2008, who's polling. I saw the polls before the primary. I saw them. Hillary was projected in most polls to be behind Donald Trump, and lo and behold, she lost against Donald Trump. There's an article in the Huffington Post. I found it hilarious. Democrats are now leery that Russia may have infiltrated their discussions on superdelegate reform. Yeah. Why are you talking about changing the superdelegate rules? It must be those Russians. It's got to be Russians. Couldn't just be the majority of the party voters who don't want it. No way. Yeah, so 437 superdelegates. I thought it was more than that. I thought it was like 700 superdelegates. Well, there's this gentleman. His name is Bob Mulholland is the name of this gentleman who's a DNC member. He's a longtime key player in California politics, Democratic politics specifically. He sent an email Friday to the other DNC members from the Golden State that implied Russian President Vladimir Putin might be behind the reform the superdelegate effort. Now, there's some things that Mr. Mulholland said that I find rich. Pretty good. There's this activist from West Virginia that for some reason Mr. Mulholland has a real problem with. He feels that this activist who wants superdelegate reform in the Democratic Party must be funded by the Russians because if not, how could you travel to other states within the United States without Putin money? Yeah, if you're going to travel and you're from West Virginia, then you must be getting funded because people in West Virginia don't have money to get on planes. Anyway, this is what Mulholland said. He said, I concluded someone is picking up her expenses, but there she and others are demanding we change our rules. He says the Putin operation is active. The Putin operation is active. So after I read about this, when Mr. Mulholland, he made all these allegations that any move towards eliminating superdelegates or reforming the superdelegate system in the Democratic Party must be spearheaded by Putin, and if somebody wants to champion for that, or anybody within the party, even look, he even accuses Tom Perez, Joe Perez, and Ellison, of being Russian. He said they're Russian. So I said, look, I got to find this guy. This guy, I got to talk to him. I want to know more about him. So I did just that. I called up Bob Mulholland, and I spoke with him. I asked Bob, did he have any evidence that these people within the party who want to reform the superdelegates are actually getting paid by Russians? Because this would be a bombshell if you had any actual evidence. Bob went on to say no, he didn't have any evidence, but he believes that Russians hacked the election and that they are providing, that they are trying to continue to hack the democratic process. So he said there are people within the who are getting a voice in the Democratic Party who want to reform the superdelegate situation, who have ties to the Green Party, and that Jill Stein ate with Putin. So therefore, that means that Jill Stein and the Green Party are being funded by Putin, and that they are somehow trying to destroy the Democratic Party. Those are his words, folks. I could not believe it. I had to hear it for myself, from him, his mouth, to me, so I could hear this paranoia. There was some deep-seated concern about the Green Party and its affiliation with Putin. But there's no evidence that Putin funds the Green Party. I'm sure the Green Party is looking for funds, but I don't think they're getting them from Putin. But remember that notorious picture of Jill Stein at a dinner where Putin was present? I think that's the only evidence that Mr. Mulholland has. A picture. The Democratic Party, the process of electing or picking a nominee should not be based on superdelegates. It should be based on the voters. There are other changes in the Democratic Party that need to be made, as far as not just superdelegates, but also the open primaries, opportunity for people to vote, decide to become Democrats that day, and let their votes be casted. It's not just one thing. But to suggest that Ellison and that Tom Perez are Republicans, or not Republicans, even worse, Russians, because they want what the party wants. The party is made up of people. It's not just about elitists. And I think people like Bob Mulholland are the absolute, exactly the prototype of the type of people who the base complains about within the party who are running the party. That's the problem. Too many Bob Mulhollands are steering the direction of the Democratic Party. So anyway, I just thought it was hilarious. It was great. Now, to Mulholland's credit, I will say, at least he took my phone call, and at least he called me back, and he answered questions. His answers were crazy, but hey. And if you say you have no evidence to draw your conclusion, but yet you still draw your conclusion, that doesn't make much sense.